Hello, scrappy friends, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to another edition of Keeping It Simple. So I've been off for a little while. I was very busy during October and November posting, and then I went on a holiday to visit my son, his wife, and their new baby, and came back. And of course, you might hear it still in my voice. I have caught a bad cold. Actually, I ended up with COVID, and so I've been taking a little bit of an extended time off, so I apologize, but I am back. I'm feeling great. I'm still just a little congested every now and then. But I wanted to get on here and do this Keeping It Simple series. So I just thought it would be a great opportunity. So when you have some time during your busy time of the year, you sit back, watch a few videos, build some Christmas layouts. In the past couple years, I've done 12 days of Christmas. And in fact, I will link that at the end of this video, the whole playlist, because there's, I did that for 2 years. So there's like 24 different videos over there if you want some Christmas inspiration. But this year I thought I would change it up a little and just do a Keeping It Simple series. So we'll get 3 videos in this Keeping It Simple series. I think it's going to be really fun because as you see here, what I have on my desk is the brand new 52 Scrapbooking Project Recipes. This book came out a few weeks ago as a birthday celebration for Creative Memories. It was a spend get promotion. This will be the first time I jump into it and use it. So I'm very excited about that. So what I did was I went through and I pulled out 3 easy, simple project recipes. Now I do feel like the project recipes, any of them, are usually about a beginner to an intermediate level scrapbooker, but the steps and the process are very simple. They keep it very streamlined and easy to recreate. Now this book, what they did was they took past project recipes and they redid them using more updated collections, and that's exactly how I feel project recipes could be used. They are meant to use any collection, so don't feel like you have to use Christmas Charm or whatever paper collection they used on the project recipe. It really is designed and was designed to use any collection. So for example, the one we're going to work on today is right here on page 70 and 71, and this is what a project recipe looks like. They always give us a colorful inspiration, show us how to lay out the page without the inspiration, so the sketch with the photo sizes here, and then they give us a cutting guide over here on how to cut the paper to make our layout look the same as this. This project recipe on page 70, they used Our Moments collection. But when they originally did this project recipe, it was done with Winterberry. You can see how easily they translated it into another collection. And today I'm going to use Christmas Charm. In fact, for the whole 3 videos, I'll be using the same paper collection of Christmas Charm. So I feel like each project recipe teaches us a different technique, and that's kind of what I want to highlight. So I am going to try and keep these as close to what they do as possible, maybe changing up, of course, the paper, but the tools as well. So I don't have access to this in a PDF form like what you're seeing right here on these 2 pages, but what I can do is I'm going to go to my blog and I'm going to link the 3 project recipes that I picked out for this series, and I will link you to the older project recipe. That way you'll be able to see on the video what the current collection is. I'll show you how I'm going to use it using Christmas Charm, and then you'll have the 3rd one, which in this case would be Winterberry, and how the project recipe is designed to be used over and over again. Okay, so you can go check out my blog. It's right here at DianeGutierrezScrapbooking.com. Go to the blog and find the blog post for Keeping It Simple Christmas Edition. Now, when I went through the book and picked out the 3 recipes, most of the project recipes in the book use anywhere from 2 pieces to cut to 3 and sometimes even 4. they use 2 pieces for a background and then the 2 pieces for the cutting. So when I went through to decide which ones I was going to use for this series, I thought it would be even more fun to try and use minimal supplies. For our 3 videos in this series, I found project recipes that only utilize 2 pieces of paper for cutting and then 2 for the background. So you can, of course, for the background, do this right into your album or onto a piece of colored cardstock. And that's another great thing about the project recipes, that you can change it up. So if 2 pieces of paper aren't really doing it for you, then don't forget we have the back sides that we can use, but you can also pull in some additional cardstock for matting or some additional pattern paper. Okay, so I'm going to explain more about how to read these as we go through it. So let me just fold this and put it off to the side. We are going to go ahead and get started. So I have my 2 pieces picked out for my background. I have decided to do like they did in the project recipe and use a different pattern paper for both sides. I kind of like that pop of color. I want to bring in a lot of these patterns from the Christmas Charm collection. So I am going to keep it like that. But again, like I said, you can change your background to whatever fits your style. And that's what I highly recommend about anytime I use a sketch or project recipe, make it fit your style and your photos. So I have some fun photos I want to bring in today, and I think you're going to agree. But I'm going to have to change up how they have their photos on here a little bit. So let me go ahead and bring in my photos so you can kind of see the direction where I'm going. About a year ago, I was blessed when my mom gave me our childhood family albums. I'm going to show you a picture of it right here. I'm so happy. There's 3 volumes. There is 1 volume missing, but it actually looks like maybe before I came into the picture, I was the 3rd of 3 children. But so yeah, I'm going to start going through these albums, and you're probably going to see me post a lot of them over the next year or so. So I really want to kind of get them out of the albums that they're in. I think she put the little photo corners on there, and that helped a lot. I want to get them out of the album and organize in such a way that I can just pull from them. But also, coming back to the photos, you could see how they're getting very yellow in the color here. So I want to make sure I'm getting them into onto protective paper and into a protective album. So I'm very excited to be dipping into these albums, and this will be the first time. But this photo's over 50 years old, so I mean, pretty good condition considering how old it is, right? So this is Christmas of 1969. And back then they had the photos printed on these, they're about 3.5 inches square. And I just think that's great. And my mom, she took a photo of us by the tree in the morning. It's so funny because I like to do that too. And then at the end, she took a picture of us with all of our loot. So I'm so excited to be able to see some of these toys and stuff from back in the day. And then there was this one black and white photo of when we went to see Santa. So I'm very excited to get this in. It kind of feels like paper almost, but she did a lot of dating on the back of these photos, so I'm super happy about that. There will be some in the book I'll have to guess on, but for the most part, she did great in getting those dated. I'm going to mix my color and my black and white. Ideally, maybe I would put this on its own page. I want to get these albums into new albums, but I want it to still reflect how I scrapbook. I don't want to have a lot of pages. I want to try and keep the albums, I guess, as thin as possible. So I'm going to put the 5x7 here. You can see a 5x7 will easily replace these 2 4x6s. And then off to the side here, I'm going to put the photos of us. It looks like we are wearing our Christmas outfits, so I don't know exact timeline of these. Let's see. And I'm going to have to just pick one of these. I think I'll pick this one. It's a little bit better quality. And the photos I don't pick, I don't know. I haven't decided. I might just throw them onto a page and give an album to my brothers. So this is going to be my layout, very similar to what they have here. But on the other page, They have, again, 2 4x6s. I don't have that many photos. What I might do is bring them down in a row like I did over here, and then I just will have a bigger room over on the far right hand side to decorate and do some journaling like they did here. So I might be scooting some of this over. I could also do it like that and have this area for decorations, but I feel like their photos will not be connected if I don't scoot them over here. So now I'm going to bring in the 2 pieces that I'm going to use for cutting. And like I said, I just want to get on a bunch of this beautiful pattern paper onto my layout. I've decided to bring in red on this side, green on this side, just the opposite of my bases. And let's go ahead and look at what we're going to do. This will be designer paper number 1, which will be my red paper over here, and then this will be designer paper number 2. So with designer paper number 1, it's telling us to cut it, and then punch. And this is very important because a lot of times we will be punching first and then making the cut. So I think it's very specific. From our cutting, we're going to get paper pieces for our layout, and we're also going to get some photo mats. So these 2 here are used for the photo mats over here, but I won't need those in this kind of a situation because I'm using my 5x7. So when I get to that, I will skip it. So I did look ahead to make sure on my cutting. Okay, so let's go ahead and do exactly what they're saying. I'm going to cut a 5-inch piece and then punch it. Now they used a border frame punch. They used dollop arches. I love that punch. It is one of my favorites. But I'm going to bring in a border making cartridge. I mean, this is a Christmas layout. I'm going to bring in this Poinsettia border making cartridge, but you guys know I use this for all kinds of layouts. I just felt like, okay, it's finally Christmas. I will do a Christmas layout actually using this border. And it's very similar to the same look that they have here. So if you're looking to change up the punch in this case, I would look for one that maybe is an edge punch so it stays attached to the paper, because that is the special technique that they want to show us. We cut it and then punch it and we're ready to use the piece of paper. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to punch out 1 row on our 5-inch piece of paper. Then we're going to slide this one right off to the side like that. My paper saver's out there. You can always trim behind there and weld this on and save yourself at least a 4-inch piece of this beautiful green paper. Now let's move on to the next step, which would be to take our piece of 7-inch paper we have left. And again, it says to cut and then punch. This time they want us to cut a 2-inch by 12-inch piece. And for this one, it's going to come right over here, but we're going to have to bring in this green piece at some point to make that pop out. So it'll be something like this. Okay, now the last part with the pattern paper number 1 was to cut the mats or the photos, but like I said, we are not going to do that. This for me will be a piece of scrap, but if you wanted to make the layout like they show here, you would want to cut 2 4x6-inch mats from this piece right here. Moving on to pattern paper number 2, and again this time it says cut and then punch, so it's the same thing. So let's go ahead and do that. So here's where I might make a little switch to make this recipe work for me. So we cut our 5x12 and then we're supposed to punch it. The rest of this over here is used for photo mats for the other side of the paper. So you'll see paper number 2 is represented here with the gray and then behind the photos as well. I think what I'm gonna do is I kind of wanted to bring in the back side of this. I did like the yellow. I wanted to bring it in, but my photos have so much yellow in it, it would just get washed out. But I thought maybe I can bring it in as a photo mat for this big photo and kind of downplay the fact that it's a black and white photo, add some extra color behind it, and help it match the other photos with their yellow tint. So let's play with that thought for a minute and see if we like it. I do like that, but let's see. Let's put this one over here. I like the 7 inches here. I can punch this and then it will look like this, but I don't have enough for this photo here. Unless I trim off the white frame around it, then I should have a perfect amount. So I think I'm going to go with that. I'm going to punch this out and trim down my photo so it fits nicer on top of that. There we go. So I have this piece over here a little bit bigger, and then my photos, I have plenty of room there. I could even come back and mat those if I want to. And now I have my 5x7 and it's going to be perfect on that yellow. And so now, just like that, we are ready to put our title on, get our journaling decided, and get to embellishing. But before we do that, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you to please click that like button. Let me know you are just loving these Keeping It Simple series. Thank you. Okay, as we get into embellishing, I wanted to bring the project recipe inspiration back in one more time because you'll see here they brought in a border sticker and put it right over here on that seam. You know I love to do that. I like to cover up that seam. I didn't have any border stickers in this collection that I wanted to use, so I went to my washi tape and I found some glittery, very thin gold washi tape, and I'm going to bring that right over here. This one is kind of an older washi tape, so it's going to need a little bit of glue to help hold that in place. So I'm just going to line it up on that seam, add a little bit of glitter to our Christmas layout. Also going to bring it in over on this side as well. I kind of want it right here behind the punch out of the poinsettia, kind of highlight the poinsettia and help it pop out a little bit more. And my photos will still have plenty of room over here off to the side. I think that it's going to add just enough little sparkle to help my page give a little bit of a pop. Let me go ahead and get some wet glue on this and get that tacked down. Okay, so where does the project recipe do their embellishment? They always give us ideas of where to embellish. So let's see what we think about that. So there's one up here, and I have not adhered this down yet, so I can kind of move it around still, depending on what we're going to do. They also put a title up there, so if you wanted to put a title. But so I'm sure I can find a little title up here to put there. And then they came down here around the photos. I think they were actually more over here, but I think I'm going to put it somewhere probably right about there. And then they put another one up here and had their journaling kind of trickling down the side. Remember, I had a bigger space over here than what they had originally. So their journaling just kind of went like that, and the embellishments were up here. Okay, so we have our journaling. We can put it anywhere around here. Again, I don't have a lot to say, so let's see what we can do. So I went through the mat cards in this collection. It came with so many great ones. I loved this one that says family is the greatest gift of all. I think that's really appropriate for what I have. And I have room over here that this will fit super nicely around here. I could even move this down and maybe still embellish at the top if I wanted, or push it up and move my cluster around. So we have some flexibility. I also liked this one. I can remove that. It has some jingle bells. I thought that's cute, kind of brings in some of the yellow, and I thought it would be appropriate for journaling as well. I feel like this one should be up more towards the top. For my embellishments, this collection had some great little trees, which are the same styles we used here. Thought it would be kind of fun to put it on top. Like I don't need all that room. Let's try a couple of things. So I have this, and or I could do something like this and maybe bring in another journaling card and put it off to the side of that one. It's bringing in a lot more red to that side than I had intended. I think I'll go with this one. It is covering up too much of my paper, so I'll go with this. Maybe put it about like that. Bring our tree in and kind of have it hanging off a little bit. That way I can still have a lot of my beautiful paper exposed right here. I pulled out these cute little presents from the embellishments as well. I think they're adorable, and I'd like to put them around the tree. Something like this. Maybe pop this one up onto some foam. There we go. That's super cute. Over here, I think I do want to bring in some more red. I did go ahead and do some paper saving over here and trim this down. And I probably have just enough to help pop that photo up. Yep, I think I'm going to do that. Yep, there we go. That's super cute. I'm going to keep that. Now for up here, let's see what kind of titles we have in this collection. Oh, I do like this one. Christmas Time at Home. Let's see here. Christmas Time at Home brings in that yellow. So I just need to find a base to put this on. Okay, so I went to my die cut machine and I cut this little cluster base out, and I like it. It's on cranberry, so I love that darker look at Christmas time. So I think I'm gonna put it right up there and bring in our title. There we go, something like that. And let me bring in my sticker sheet because I like these jingle bells like we have over here. So let's bring in one of those. We have a couple. There we go. Adjust my title to be something like that. And that's very cute. I like that. We still have over here, let's see, here, let's go ahead and remove our circle. I do like the stockings. I feel like they're a little bit more juvenile since we have small children on this photo, on these photos. So I think I might put that, I'll just put it on there lightly for now. And then maybe the star, something like that. Oh, what fun. That's cute. Could come off to the side. I think I'll pop that up onto some foam. There we go. I like that. And I like my clusters. I'll move this photo up here to be closer to that cluster. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the date and put it right here. And that's going to be it for this project recipe. I love it. I think it was super simple. I hope that you agree. And go over to my blog and get a copy of a PDF of all 3 of the project recipes I'm going to use in this series. And until next time, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.